Hi guys. So today we decided we're going to talk about falling in love with making mistakes. And actually I wrote a post on LinkedIn earlier today. I'm going to copy the link below. You can read up on it if you're inspired. But the reason I love this topic is that we are all so good at beating ourselves up for doing something what we think we've done wrong, what we should have done or what we shouldn't have done. And we talk to ourselves the way we will never allow anyone else to talk to us, right? I mean, if our friends came and told us what we're telling ourselves, we'd be like, I don't want to be your friend anymore. And yet we judge ourselves constantly. And often we don't realize that every perceived mistake or everything that we think we've done wrong was actually happening for pure purposes to move us to the next step. And I mean, all my life, literally, I felt like I was making mistakes after mistake after mistake after mistake. But then it led me to to a completely new life, where if somebody told me I would be doing what I'm doing right now, a few years ago, I really would have thought they were insane. But by taking the steps forward, by not ruminating in the past, we can really create pretty much what we set our minds and our hearts on. And big thing really for me was that helped me to stop judging myself, to stop ruminating in the past, was to realize that I do not perceive my best interests. It's actually a line from the Course in Miracles, which I'm studying. It says, you do not perceive your best interest. Because how many times in your life where you thought you failed or you did something wrong, whatever that was, it actually turned up to be the biggest blessing because it opened up new doors to opportunities. Maybe as a result of whatever that gone wrong, you met someone else or you landed a new job or you ended up traveling. But at that time, it felt like the worst thing that could have happened to you. So I think if you are on this channel, 9 to 5 spirituality, you're probably spiritual or you're open to, to believing that there is some power that greater than us, that this, our minds, is not it, right? There is like an infinite intelligence. And I personally believe that this infinite intelligence has a plan way greater than what we think is actually being planned out for us. So every time that we think we make a mistake, and I do it like this because there is no mistakes, we really need to start reframing this. You've got to start reframing I'm making mistakes to I'm experiencing, I'm learning lessons, and recognize that whatever happened was meant to happen exactly how it happened. There are no mistakes, because if something didn't happen, it wouldn't lead you to that certain place in your life. And instead of beating yourself up, judging yourself, you can say, right, this is what I've learned. Let me apply this lesson into the future experience. And sometimes actually we can repeat the same thing over and over and over again. But we had to repeat that because then finally we get to this place of awareness and we go, hang on a second. I'm literally repeating the same cycle. I'm getting the same results. And that's how we catch ourselves. And that's how we extract the lesson and we apply it to our future. Sarit, have you got anything to add to it?
Yes, I wanna share how I always think about it. So first, in my current life, I'm not putting titles. So for me, there is no actual mistake, because I believe that in order for us to understand what is good for us and even to have a clear definition between good and bad, we should experience sometimes, let's say, negative experiences or failures in order to understand what is the good ones that we want to have. Life is like a buffet for me with all the options, like you're standing in a hotel and you have a buffet full of options of food. And until you try, you actually don't know if this is something that you would like and you would actually eat it. So you're trying a lot of things. So for me, it's always experiences, opportunities. Through what I'm going through, the experience that life brings me, I understand what I want and what I don't know, what I don't want. And then another areas that I'm putting in space is that I believe we live in the present moment. When we are given a title of a mistake, that means that we are rushing out to the output that we would like that experience to drive. When we understand that the only place that we are living is in the moment, first, we're taking our energy back to the moment, and we are always living in the present moment. Time is a concept. It's not actually happening. We are having this conversation now, and in a minute it's going to be again now, and in 2 minutes it's going to be again now. Time is only helping us navigate the reality that we're living in. So when we understand it's all in the present, so instead of trying to push reality and drive to the outputs that I want, I'm living in the current moment and letting whatever experience or circumstances I'm currently having evolve. And if it not necessarily happen as I wished it to be, for me, it's only a stopping point. I always look at life as a book, and everything is a chapter. And I know that whatever I experience, even though it wasn't my output, my absolute dream output, I know it's just a step on the way, and I would never let it be the only chapter in my book. And once I have a lot of chapter, like a good story, I will have a lot of chapters, a lot of experience that will help me grow and understand better how would I drive the output that I want. So I know I drove a lot of definition, right, Elena? The present moment, that our power is always in the present moment. Move away from title, have an outstanding long goal, but don't be attached to the output, even though it may be not in the moment, the circumstance that you want, not necessarily it's the end of the story.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that really brings me to an important point to make. We're always labeling things, right? It's good, it's bad, it's hot, it's cold, it's this and this. But actually, when it comes to certain experience, how do you should know it's good or bad? Only because you don't get the desired outcome, it doesn't mean it's bad. Because if you got the desired outcome, but as a consequence, something else would have happened, and you go, oh, shit, I didn't want that. And in the meantime, if you didn't get your desired outcome, something absolutely incredible could have come as a result of it. So what is good, what is bad? So when we then begin to realize and accept that everything is just is, that no matter what happens, this is part of my plan. And the only thing I can do is I can learn from it and apply the lessons. Then we just release a lot of self-judgment, because we give a lot of our energy to judging ourselves, to beating ourselves up, right? I mean, we all love doing it. But imagine if instead of putting your attention and your energy on thinking about the past and everything you've done wrong, you actually put it into the present moment and think, right, how can I actually use my experience to achieve the results I desire? You will literally empower, because remember, wherever your attention goes, your energy flows. You will supercharge your ability to create whatever it is that you like in life. That's what I personally believe.
Elena, I think it's a good point to share our first Zen story.
Remind me.
Okay, so there is a famous Zen story about a Zen master that lived in a village, and yes, he enrolled himself to a lotto contest, and he won like a big fancy car, and the whole village came to him and he said, good, it's such a good fortune that you got the car and you're so lucky and so on. And his response was, I don't know. So he drove the car for 3 months and then was in an extremely bad accident and got hospitalized. The whole village came to him and said, wow, that's such bad luck. You enrolled in the contest, you got the car, and look at you now in the hospital, and it's going to be a long journey to recovery. And his response was, I don't know. At that same evening, there was a flood and the whole village died. And then the doctors came to him and he said, look, it's such a good luck that you got the car, you got to an accident, and you were at the hospital, and the whole village got flooded. And his response was still, I don't know. So, the story kept continuing with, circles of good and bad and so on, but I think you got the concept. We really don't know. And we have to let the story unfold. And that Zen master actually got it. He just let the world, just let the experiences come and go, and he wasn't judging them. And I've got this sentence that I'm telling my kids always, that if you're looking at an elephant with your nose touched to his ass, you wouldn't see it's an elephant. So in order for that, you have to go far, far beyond. So sometimes we need to let the experience go by until we would actually see if it's an elephant or something else.
I love that. It's brilliant. Exactly. And as I said, we often do not perceive our best interest. We don't know what anything is for. We have no idea. So I think like to beat ourselves up and thinking that we are in control of every single experience is just silly, really. Like something else I want to share, like my personal story. When I was choosing what I should study when I was in my early 20s, I went to write this test, which was an IQ test, and it was very logical. And well, I failed it. I remember I bombed out completely. And I got home and I was in floods of tears. I'm like, I'm so stupid. And I cried my eyes out. And then I applied for computer science degree, to which I was accepted. Clearly, my logic was good enough. And I ended up getting a computer science degree with cum laude. So it just shows you, if I was accepted into this college, I probably would have had a college education, which is good, but I wouldn't have had this exposure that my degree enabled me to have. And so many jobs that I applied after, every single one of them have asked me for a degree. And then I remember when I had a choice between those two jobs, that I was going for an interview simultaneously, one with this one really big prestigious bank in South Africa. And I fell asleep during an interview. It was a coding. I had to like write a piece of software, and I was so tired because I went clubbing the night before. And when I woke up, the time was up, and I think I answered 3 questions and I got every single one of them wrong. So, well, needless to say, I didn't get the job. But as a result of that, I got another job where I absolutely fell in love with the company. I made so many good friends, and I'm still friends with some of them. I came to UK completely, the company relocated me. I worked at Microsoft for Ministry of Defense, and I've traveled the world because of me falling asleep at the interview. So as you can see, like, I could have beaten myself up for missing an opportunity, but in the meantime, something even better came up. And it's like that with anything in your lives. So if you're really struggling, with making mistakes, if you like want to make sure everything is perfect, if you're beating yourself up, you can just even ask yourself, where in my life was well, maybe I made a mistake in the past, or I wasn't in a control of a situation and I judged myself. I wish it went differently, but actually it turned out to my benefit. And I promise you, you will find at least one experience like that.
So let me get it. You ended up in England because you were clubbing.
Yeah, you see, turns out clubbing is good for you. I never thought about it this way, right? I went to a club, I ended up in England.
I think this is the way to live, honestly.
Why not? I was having fun, and the more fun I was having, the more opportunities were opening up for me. And I literally didn't think it was actually, I will never forget it. I thought it was the most hilarious thing, me falling asleep at the job. I wasn't half as upset as I was when I failed the test for the college.
I'm actually very proud of you, because we should be happy and we should live our life to the fullest, but that is for a different video. So just that we will summarize.
Stop beating yourself up. There are no mistakes.
Yeah, but try first not to label anything.
Yeah.
Get some space, don't label, don't be hashed to label, which will drive you to what Lena said, which is actually judging yourself and talking to yourself, well, our worst judge. So first, don't label. Let as we said, let it have a little bit of space before we are judging the experience, and let time pass by, right?
Yeah, definitely. There's no good and bad. Like Sarit just was talking about this Zen master example, right? There's no good and bad. And remember that the past does not define your future, right? So whatever happened in the past, leave it there. Like the only time we ever need to go in the past is like, what did I learn? What is the lesson I can take with me? That's it. That's all the past is for.
And what do we have? We only have the present moment. So don't drag your past into your future. It already, as Lena said, became your lesson. So it's already incorporated and you are.
That's it.
We only have present moment. And this is where we should live. We should do a video about my expertise, the present moment.
Definitely. It's not my expertise yet. I'm learning how to become more present. But for now, all I know is I definitely mastered the past. It's like it's done. The future is still I'm working on, but that's going to be another video, completely separate topic. So anything else you want to add, Sari, before we close this off? No?
No.
Okay, brilliant, guys. As always, if this resonated, like the video. If it didn't resonate, you can still like it. You can subscribe, share it, and let us know if there's anything you want us to discuss next time. Bye.